Real quick picks.
Correct. We're rolling over there. It's a lot of fun. We gather an okay amount of views. Maybe I feel like I'm pretty confident I'll get around 100 a video at least, if it's not too long and boring.
It's
But
just persistency and a little marketing. That's all.
yeah, I really believe in just persistence and hard work and just keep doing it every day. I feel like that's worked everywhere. That's what everyone says too. Everyone that like, for instance, like we're gonna talk about MMA. No one's like I woke up and then I, hop and skipped and then I was the champion. It's like
Yeah.
they do a lot every day, but the premise is there.
Okay. Countdown. 5, 4. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Nuts and Bolts MMA, where you get the nuts and bolts of what's going on inside the world of MMA. I'm your host, Travis Montgomery. I appreciate anybody who is joining us. Please go to Nuts and Bolts MMA on Instagram and Facebook. It's Nuts MMA on Twitter. Follow us there for daily MMA content. We are also on Stitcher, Spotify, and YouTube. We've got videos up on YouTube and almost any podcatcher that you can pull up on your phone or device. We are there. So tell a friend and subscribe if you'd like. Again, I'm your host, Travis Montgomery. I'm doing well. I am getting ready to hop in the ocean tomorrow. So today I kind of did a little maintenance run, about 4 miles. I've been kind of beating myself up lately, but the results are starting to show. I don't have to lie on my dating profile when I put athletic as the body type anymore. I started running about a year ago, and like I said, the results are starting to come. For anyone that's thinking about getting into it, your first 20 runs will suck while you're doing it, but you'll always feel good at the end. And then you'll start to get into a place where you will hit a stride. My man Mitch from Real Quick Picks knows what running and working out's all about. How are you doing today? And what's new with you? Anything?
I'm doing real good. Kind of a little bit of the same, at least in the running aspect. I ran like 5 or 6 miles yesterday, just ran 2 miles today. I'll probably give it a rest tomorrow, but I kind of just agree with that. Running's probably my favorite exercise. I feel like it's one of the best ones for you. If you just kind of want to stay in shape and think, therapeutic.
It is for mental health reasons. I've already gone over. So Monday I ran 8 miles, and then Tuesday I was going for a 10K time, and Wednesday when I showed up to work, I might as well have been hungover because it was just like I was going a little too hard. So I had to.
Yeah, it sounds like you run quite a bit, man. That's awesome though. That's
for my 37-year-old body too. But I dialed it back
too bad.
because I'm going to hop in the ocean. The big waves are coming to Southern California. But we have so much to get into. We're going to do a couple of recaps. I was supposed to do one earlier this week. It didn't matriculate. That's all right. So we're going to breeze through a couple of these recaps. We've got some fight news, and we've got a huge pay-per-view this weekend. The fans are back. The vibes are crazy. I can't wait to get into that one. First, let's start off with a couple of news items. Drakkar Klose gets paid his show money after Jeremy Stephens pushes him at the weigh-ins last weekend. The next day, the fight was called off. It was a dumb move by Jeremy Stephens. Like, what the hell, dude? Control yourself a little bit. It's actually... So the organization has a responsibility to keep. So this used to happen in the 80s a lot, where they would have the boxers face off, and then there would be no one in between them, and there would be huge brawls all the time. So the athletic commission made it up to the promotion to have a physical barrier in between the two fighters, and that didn't happen. So it was kind of like on the UFC. What do you think about what happened there?
So from looking online, my understanding was it like whiplash that Jakar Close ended
Yeah,
up
he actually
suffering
got a
to know?
concussion and it's like injured his sternum.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm never like advocating for, them fighting before the fight, if in a sense. And it really, where did that come from? Jakar Close, I mean, they were doing a face off like everyone else, and Jeremy Stevens pushed him. It looked like it was a hard push, and really, I feel like the fans lost. I mean, that was one of the most highly anticipated fights, I would say, on the card. At least for me, I was really looking for. Was that the co-main event
Yeah.
at the time? Yeah, and that sucks to see, but it is awesome to see Jakar Close get paid. Anytime you see the fighters get paid, that's a good thing. I mean, money's such a hot topic right now, especially with the Ben Askren fight. Not to uh, derail into that, but you know what I mean. Just it's good to see the fighters get paid, is all I'm saying. So that's cool. And then are they? Did you say they're rebooking that fight, or are
I
they?
think they're going to rebook it. Yeah. At this point,
Okay,
with the drama, I mean, why not?
yeah, but sucks it was canceled. Good to see him get paid, and I'm excited for the fight.
Yes, that's going to be a banger once we get there. Couple of fight announcements. Jairzinho Rosenstruck will fight Augusto Sakai at a UFC event on June 5th. Jairzinho is one of my favorite heavyweights, partly because he's liked a couple of my tweets when I tweeted at him on Twitter.
That'll help. That'll help.
It does.
Honestly, if the fighters want to, I mean, follow. Do you see Adrian Yanez or Yanez? Is it Yanez on Twitter? He's really interactive with the fans. I mean, all I'm trying to say is it helps. It helps the fans get behind you. I mean, a little interaction goes a long way, and it's a lot of fun. But even without that, he's an exciting heavyweight to watch. I mean, like that Overeem fight where he was kind of losing the whole time and won at the last second. I mean, you could compare that to the Derek Lewis fight with Volkov, where he was losing the whole time and won, although it wasn't a main event, so it didn't feel as drawn out. But same concept there. Fighting, is it Augusto Sakai? I don't want to mess up his name.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Augusto Sakai was gonna fight someone who, with all due respect, I feel like was not as highly regarded as Rosenstruik. So this one will be interesting. I think maybe looking at both of their matches with Overeem could be a good insight to how this one could go. Excited for it though. I'm sure. I feel like it's one of the ones that's going to go to decision, but won't be boring for us.
Well, excuse me. Gosh, if
I
I can get
mean,
my
I
words
don't
together.
know. They both have heavy hands. Maybe I take that back. This one probably
Um,
will not go to decision, honestly.
yeah, well, Sakai's going to stand and bang with him, and Jairzinho has the power to put you out with one shot.
Yeah.
I want to see him get a win because he's down. He's down two. He's got that crazy kickboxing background. I think he's fun. Heavyweight's fun right now. Let's
Hmm.
keep it moving though. Drew Dober is going to fight Brad Riddell at UFC 263 on June 12th. Drew Dober just dropped that fight to Islam Makhachev, and Brad Riddle is, the prospect out of City Kickboxing. That's going to be a banger. Those two aren't even ranked in the lightweight division. That's how crazy the lightweight division is in the UFC right now. They're not even in top 15.
Yeah, the lightweight division is stacked, and I'm curious about the odds for that fight because I don't even know who I would consider the favorite at all there. I
Okay.
mean,
I'm gonna before I look, I'm gonna say that Drew Dober will be a favorite at around minus 200.
I will take those odds for Brad Riddle
Oh,
for sure.
you're
I
sleeping
want to
on
see.
my boy.
No, I'm not. I just feel like Brad Riddle. I mean, all of the guys he's beaten have been absolute studs. I feel like, for the most part,
No lines
Mago,
yet, but
no
that will
lines yet.
be 263 is Brandon Moreno versus Davison Figueredo rematch. They don't know where that's going to be at yet because this is an exciting time. We've got fans back. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in a while. Bellator recap real quick. I'm just going to breeze through these, and then we are going to recap Whitaker versus Gastelum. Paul Daly gets a win after losing the first round to Sabai Hamasi, who is Dustin Poirier's training partner. I expect more out of this man coming up soon. Looks like he might have ran out of gas in the second round. Veda Arteaga defeats Desiree Yanez. There was some weird penalties in that one. Corey Anderson defeats Dovletchin Yagshimuradov. I actually bet Yagshimuradov a little bit. I think his record is crazy. Corey Anderson just looks like he's in a good spot right now in Bellator. He looks phenomenal. The Russian dude did land some strikes on him, but the takedowns is just something that you have to stop Corey Anderson. That man does not get tired. He's kind of a freak. Vadim Nemkov defeats Phil Davis, who doesn't ever get tired and doesn't ever get knocked down, but gets hit by so many hard shots. It's quite unbelievable, but Vadim Nemkov is your light heavyweight Bellator champion, and for good reason, because that dude is a freaking stud. Can't wait to see more of what he does coming up in this tournament. He is either going to fight Yoel Romero or Anthony Johnson. My money will probably be on Anthony Johnson, and I don't know. Yoel looks fat right now. Well, it's not a good sign for me. A lot of people think that people can jump up and weight, but then they'll gain 40 pounds, and that doesn't do you any good because you're still cutting a crazy amount of weight. This Triller card seemed to have the most cultural significance of the weekend. This was kind of a circus show. There was about an hour of concerts. One part of it was like a West Coast rap. A lot of it. So that what they did was they called it Fight Club. It was supposed to be kind of like a club, strip club kind of atmosphere with some fights in there. They had rappers. Justin Bieber performed. It was concert / fights. Steve Cunningham defeats Frank Mir, who Frank Mir did not look bad. That was a good showing by him. It wasn't embarrassing. He actually won some rounds on one of the judges' scorecard. Then there was an actual pro fight. Regis Pedraeus defeats Ivan Redkach via unanimous decision and wasn't really close. Jake Paul defeats Ben Askren via first round TKO. Now, let me tell you that going into this, I like Ben Askren, because his competitor standpoint and a lot of the reasons that I've given, but looks like Ben didn't take this fight seriously. They saw him in the back. He didn't even warm up. He walked out there, didn't move around. He wasn't ready to fight. All Jake Paul had to do was keep throwing that jab overhand right. And Ben Askren wasn't raising his left hand to block it or wasn't doing anything to get his head out of the way. And what the hell do you think is going to happen at that point? So Ben Askren, he gets knocked pretty much out, flash knockout. He gets back up. He's not obeying the ref's instructions, and it calls it. A lot of people thought Ben Askren could have fought a little bit more, but he was probably just on his way to falling face first completely out on the canvas. There is your quick recaps for that. I'll do a quick betting recap. I had Vadim Nemkov and Robert Whitaker in the biggest play of the weekend. It was plus 110. I did that for 2 units, so I got 2 units off of that one. Well, I'm sorry, 2.2 units out of that one. My next bet was Gravely versus Al Hassan. Al Hassan did not look good. I bet almost 2 units to win 1.5 on that parlay. I missed one, and that was done. I bet Alex Munoz, and I bet Drakkar Klose. That fight was off. Alex Munoz lost, total loss of 0.8 units on that card, which brings me to a total of minus 3.3 units, which is not bad for starting to keep track, because a lot of people have terrible bad luck once they start to keep track of their bets. It's some kind of a crazy curse. But hopefully I will get some of that back on this event. Now let's recap Robert Whitaker versus Kelvin Gastelum. Maybe, I think it's the second to last fight at the Apex Center, UFC Vegas 24. Let's start with Luis Pena versus Alex Munoz. I actually kind of didn't. I thought Alex could have maybe taken that decision, and I would have been in the plus. It was a split decision. Mitch, you have anything to say about that fight?
Yeah, I feel like you're not alone there. I kind of think Alex won that. I've seen some folks online that more aggressively thought Alex won that. I see how it could have gone either way. But overall, I feel like neither fighter did too much to make it seem like they wanted to win. I don't want to say that because they're out there fighting, you know what I mean? But it was a close fight. But I think I saw Alex winning the first 2 rounds. I saw Lewis winning the third round, but you know, it is what it is. I didn't have any money on that fight either way, and it wasn't involved in any of my parlay bets or anything like that.
Yeah, a little bit disappointing. There was 3 split decisions. There's 4 split decisions in a row on this card.
Yeah. Yep.
Jessica Pastapeni, Alexander Romanov, Luis Pena, Tracy Cortez.
Yep. They're all over the place.
Cortez defeats Justine Quiche. I thought Cortez kind of soundly won that fight. Maybe I missed part of the first round or something, but it looked like a 30-27 win to me.
I could see judges. I'm curious to see how they would compare situations where it's like how dominant is Tracy on the ground versus how dominant does Kish look standing up. And honestly, I feel like standing up it looked kind of even, not even, but I thought Tracy fared a lot better standing up than Kish did on the ground. I think Tracy won that fight, and that completed one of my parlays. I had her with Giga Chikotski and Jack Shore, and a fourth fighter I'm not remembering right now. It might have been Marvin Vittori for a 4-way parlay. So that was
nice. Yeah, it always makes the fights a little more interesting when you've got some skin in the game.
Oh yeah.
Our next bout, Jacob Malkoun somehow came out and looked like a D1 wrestler against Abdul Razak Al Hassan. Defeats him unanimous decision. At this point, I think Abdul Razak Al Hassan is just kind of like who he is at this point. You can either get knocked out or you can take him down, and he hasn't done anything to correct that. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I kind of agree with that, and I feel like Jacob Malkoun was pretty slept on all week. I had him picked in my weekly video where I do the full card predictions for it. So that was nice to see. Honestly, I was just kind of riding with that. I like to see that he was training with Robert Whitaker and always has, and we hadn't seen too much about him in the UFC. His last fight, he just kind of got starched by Philip Haas, and I don't want to look too much into that. You know what I mean? Philip Haas could starch any middleweight in the division, really, or not in any middleweight, but that's making their debut. But at any rate, yeah, pretty dominant. It was surprising to see it was that dominant. It kind of seemed like there were no answers to the takedown, right? It was just complete control. After the first round, looked gassed enough to where we weren't going to see a knockout, and it seemed like a knockout was the key to victory. Jacob Malkoun didn't even really eat too much in that first round while controlling, if I remember correctly.
No.
So pretty dominant fight. That one wasn't a split decision, right? No, it wasn't.
No.
You didn't read it off. Yeah, good. Judges weren't that crazy, but
yeah. So I mean, going into the fight, he was 4-1. Now he's 5-1. I thought maybe he was just there because he was Robert Whitaker's training partner, but apparently he's got something to show. I mean, it's just crazy with that least amount of professional fights. I mean, it's almost like a WMMA record coming into this thing, getting a UFC shot on a main card after getting knocked out. I thought it was set up for Al Hassan to do good. He's got one of those like marketable styles and that body and that crazy explosion that the UFC brass likes to see. And I thought they were setting him up here. Maybe they were, and it just did backfired.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like either the fighters have a chance to be marketable, and I feel like a lot of people know him at least now as Robert Whitaker's boy. So maybe we'll get to know him a little more. Curious to see how well he does moving forward because I don't. It's hard to say, right? Like, was he high level wrestling, or were there no answers from Abdul?
Well, he was also moving up a weight class too. So, but I thought like he looked strong enough to be able to get these guys off of him, but that's not the case at all. Um,
Yeah.
anyways, we spent enough time here. Let's
Yep.
get to the main event now. Robert Whitaker basically puts on a masterclass against Kelvin Gastelum. He had Gastelum rocked a couple times. Mitch, what do you think about this one? I'm sure you saw this fight, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It was just like a like a classic Robert Whitaker fight, really. I mean, without the I had a little bit of money for a finish. I was kind of thinking one of those head kicks would finish. It didn't happen, but it was close. I'm not mad about the bet, all things considered, when I looked at it in hindsight. It was a good fight. Tough because it's one of the ones where I really like Kelvin Gastelum, right? But I think he'll be back. He always takes wins and losses well. He's up there. They could pair him with, I feel like, Marvin Vettori, turn around and do that, and he can be right back where he was with a win over Marvin Vettori, to be honest. But
Yeah, but
you also have
hello,
Paulo Costa out there.
Kelvin can still make 170. It's like,
Can he?
okay, if he had like Frankie Edgar's mentality, okay.
Yeah.
If he had Frankie Edgar's mentality, he would be welterweight champion probably.
Do you feel like he's done at 185 after seeing that fight? I mean, that's Robert Whitaker. He's one he's one of the best middleweights in the world, right? One or two. A lot of people think one, but consensus right now says two. Israel's the champion. That's the rematch to make because he's the number one contender. Are you just kind of like, we saw it already? You think Rob's going to get starched again? Because I
No.
could see that happening. I'm
Well,
not sure how I see
let's
the
stay
second
on
one
Kelvin
going.
for a second.
Yes, sorry.
So if I'm his friend, I don't want to see him fight Izzy or Robert Whitaker or Paulo Costa or Marvin Vettori. I
Really?
mean, well, no, because look how much damage he just took in this fight. He took a crazy amount of damage. So many people would have been knocked out. Sometimes you're too
Yeah.
tough for your own good. Who knows what kind of lasting impact that this fight's going to have on his brain or whatever? Because look, Robert Whitaker kicked him so hard in the head a couple times that it's just it's not good. It's not good. I actually had some money on the finish too, and I got that tip from like a pro friend of mine. So you're in good company with that bet.
Hey, that's good to hear.
Um, but yeah, it's just Kelvin Gastelum's crazy chin. It's not good to watch someone take that much punishment.
Yeah.
So, what would you like to see Kelvin Gastelum do next?
I'd like to see him heal up, train, enjoy his time. I'm sure he got paid well for this one. A fight with Robert Whitaker, it's a big name. That's a successful event, I feel like, and just kind of chill and just see how the landscape goes. By then, there will probably be one or two, three championship fights. Let's say if he waits almost 2 years. I mean, how long did Ortega wait between the Max Holloway and Korean Zombie fight? Because I feel like maybe that kind of a wait, maybe a little shorter. Ortega took a lot of damage from Max Holloway. But just take some time off, see the landscape. But I kind of like him at 85. I don't know. I feel like 170 is, despite the fights not really being booked until recently, things starting to work themselves out. I feel like I like 170 where it's at. I feel like 185, I like the players in there as well. if anything, add players to 185. Don't take them away. Kamaru Usman, you want a second belt? You know, I don't know, but yeah, I like Kelvin at 185. Maybe chill. Holloway go to
That's
170.
cool. But look, if you're thinking about his career, who's he going to fight at 170? Colby Covington, Kamaru Usman, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Not exactly starching people, knocking them out. They don't hit as hard as Robert Whitaker does. Is what I'm saying. He probably would have a better chance at fighting those guys. But at any rate, check this out. Significant strikes landed. Robert Whitaker landed 150 against Kelvin Gastelum 62. You know, it's kind of
Yep, that's on average.
115 to the head, and 10 of those were head kicks. Even if you partially blocked them, it's just brutal. I don't know. I would like to see him move down, but if he wants to hang around in the neighborhood of 4th and 5th at middleweight, I think that's his ceiling. I think we've seen it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate. The middleweight's so tough up there. It's like, because who's number 3 at middleweight too? It's
Marvin
just
Vettori now.
Yeah, true.
Costos two. Jared Cannonier. I mean,
Oh, that's true. What's he up to?
I
Him
don't
and
know. He
Darren
should
Till?
fight Costa. Did they ever fight?
I don't think so.
That's the fight to make. I don't know.
Yeah.
Costa, Vettori, Cannonier. They're 2, 3, and 4. Let's run it back. At this point, it's almost goes without saying that they're going to do that rematch again. I think it goes differently. I think since Adesanya knocked Robert Whitaker out, he's kind of calmed down. He's really stuck to game plans and keeps his distance and movement. He doesn't go in there and blitz as much as he did against Adesanya, at least, or as much as he used to.
I think maybe the fight with Jan made a little blueprint for him too, to incorporate the grappling a little bit.
Sure.
I'd love to see it stir up the pot. I don't, as much as I hate to say it, when a fighter gets too dominant, I'm like, let's see, I'm kind of rooting for Jorge here, but I don't see it happening. I think Kamaru Usman's gonna take that one again. But
well, what's the best way to beat Adesanya? I think we've seen it. We have to wrestle.
Yeah, you have to wrestle.
100% game plan. You can't just do what John did, but wrestling is going to be a factor in there if Robert Whitaker is going to beat him, I think.
Yep, and Robert Whitaker can do it for sure. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, let's see what Adesanya says. He's kind of quiet since his loss. He's usually pretty, outlandish on social media.
Yep.
Speaking of which, is there any Twitter beef to talk about? I know that.
yes. I was gonna message you this sooner, but did you see that one of Colby Covington posting a picture of some woman? Who knows who it was? Like the truth behind that, but that's funny. That's some gamesmanship there.
Twitter beef corner. Colby Covington posts a picture with Jorge Masvidal's sister.
I've heard sister, I've heard ex-girlfriend, I've heard ex-wife, I've heard mother. I don't know. I've heard some woman I've heard some other random Masvidal woman.
Okay,
I mean,
let's jump back to this.
Yeah.
For the main event of UFC 261, because there's more to talk about there.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're doing great on time, by the way. I thought we would get stuck in some of these holes.
Well, we did forget to talk about Andre Arlovsky and Chase Sherman, I noticed.
Oh.
But there wasn't really too much to talk about other than, for me, that was an upset. I thought Chase Sherman was going to go in there.
That was a
honestly.
Okay. Yeah. So I ended up putting money on Arlovsky after I thought about it more.
Because,
nice. Arlovsky's chin is still there. Fighting Aspinall is a different story because he's a huge prospect right now. And Chase Sherman's just not good. He's not good. How about that? He's not very good.
Hey, it's sometimes
Oh,
it's hard to hear and it's hard to say about the fighters because we respect them so much, but it's like, yeah, sometimes I remember watching GSP talking to someone about it. He's like, sometimes I'll go up to my friends and let them know, like, hey, you got to stop fighting, like it's
yeah,
not
that
for
was on
you.
JRE.
Okay, was it?
Yeah, that was
um
good. I love me some
but
GSP.
yeah, but no, I agree. It seemed like Arlovsky quickly found answers to all of the offense, and then um
He's still
you,
good.
you saw Chase get angry and try to like force a fight, which I feel like sometimes you see when you can't implement the offense you want, you start resorting to these other tactics, and Andre Arlovsky is too much of a veteran to,
Yeah,
react on that. So he won that handedly.
his defense on his feet is still good. He gets hit and he may not have the best chin, but still serviceable. But he knows how to get out of the way of these shots and
Yep.
then make it a fight that he can win.
Yep.
So good. Shout out to Andre Arlovsky.
Shout out to Andre Arlovsky.
So I can't believe I just brushed over that one. I think I brushed over another. Any other fights? No, well, no, we
Nope.
pretty much covered it.
Yeah, that was it. At least
Okay.
from what I have here.
So we will start. Okay, UFC 261. Oh boy, the fans are back. The press conference was today. There is a vibe going around. There is a big buzz. The fighters can feel it. The Dana White can feel it. He's super duper happy. We had the press conference earlier, like I just said. We're
Did you
finally.
watch it?
I was watching it before we started a little bit. I have
Yeah.
a clip from I put on the social medias of Jorge Masvidal saying that I don't know. Just go look at it on something about the
Okay,
BMF
I'll check
belt.
it out. Yeah, all I was gonna say is that the fans are definitely going crazy, man. They've been waiting and they're letting themselves be heard, and I'm happy to hear them. It's a lot of fun.
Well, check this out.
All right, let's see it.
Question for Masvidal. Jorge, I see the BMF belt is on the table. I was wondering, is that on the line in this fight?
Oh, I watched it.
You
Yeah,
gotta be a BMF to compete.
you got to be a
for that one.
BMF.
This dude ain't it, so
Yep.
Yeah, there's a buzz going down, and it's kind of cool to
And that's
get get some of this stuff behind us. I know it's serious and people are sick, but it's I think it's the numbers are down. It's time. If anything, it's time to. Don't want to get too far into the weeds on all that, but we're here. We've got crowds, and nothing you can do to stop it now. So
yep. Dana was said he was gonna be first, and he's allowed to do it. So that's what it is. If you don't like it, you don't go to the shows. If you don't like it enough, you could not even watch the shows. But I'm definitely gonna watch the shows.
he is. I give a shout out to his work ethic and determination. I think maybe in the beginning, trying to go off the reservation without an athletic commission and do an event, probably not the best move in the world, especially during at that time when it was. And wisely, I think actually Disney made him stop at ESPN. Anyways, we're here. The numbers are down in Florida, so we're good. So let's keep going forward. Talk about the first fight of the night that we are going to talk about is Randy Brown versus Charles Oliveira. You have any quick read on this fight?
I really like Randy Brown here. I feel like he has always his ability to weather the storm is really what speaks to me. He lost that fight against Vicente Luque, but I mean, his calf gets chewed up, and then I feel like he puts up a good fight. Before losing it. And then the fight against Warley Alves, that was another one where looked like he was losing. And honestly, I feel like those two guys might even be more tougher competition than Oliveira's. I don't know if I'm sleeping on him, but what do you think about that?
I think he's only lost to the top of the division. Now, does Alex Oliveira fall in that? I really think that Alex Oliveira's career is starting to catch up to him. because he just comes out like a pit bull on a lot of these fights and kind of runs out of steam. He's starting to lose some of those fights that he would normally win. Gunnar Nelson, Mike Perry, Nicholas Dalby.
Yeah.
Those were some pretty crazy fights. He lost his last fight to guillotine choke by I think it was like a UFC newcomer. No disrespect or anything, but a lot of these fights, the UFC keeps them around because they know what they're going to get out of them.
He's an
And-
exciting fighter and he's game and he always brings it, but I think Randy Brown's going to be long and I think he's going to look like a sniper in this one. If I'm being honest, I would kind of look, I feel like I see a finish over over a 3-round war, if I'm being honest, but I could still see those two happening, but I just see
at minus 145, you don't really need to count on a finish for a bet for me. So I'm going to have one unit on Randy Brown. Minus 145 as it stands. I like that bet. I like to fade these aging fighters that start to show up and look old. And
yeah.
I mean, he's got 15 children or something like that. Those got to be wearing him down too.
I didn't even realize that.
No, yeah, in his hometown in Brazil or something, he has like a crazy amount of children and a crazy amount of babies moms too. So
hey, whatever, however you want to live life. But I'm just gonna say on the I don't know if you ever use DraftKings, but it lets you do a 12-way parlay. So I like to pick each fighter that I'm gonna think. I just put like $5 on who I think is gonna win each fight on the whole entire card, and if that hits, you get like $1,000 or more or something. And that's just kind of fun. But I'm definitely going Randy Brown on this one.
Okay, let's keep it moving here. Anthony Smith versus Jimmy Crute. I've got my eye on Jimmy Crute right now. You know what? I don't know. Anthony Smith has his cozy desk job now. He is one of the most fierce competitors in this division's ever seen. There's no question about that. 34-16 versus 12-1. When are those fights going to start catching up to Anthony Smith? He's been through a lot of wars. He went through a period of time where no one wanted to fight him. What do you think about this?
I like Anthony Smith here, but I think I might just be a fan.
That'll do it for this episode. I'm just kidding. No, go ahead.
I think I might just be being a fan here, but honestly, when I look at Anthony Smith, he has fought a lot, but I just feel like he's only lost to like the stiffest of competitions with John Jones, Glover, and Rakek or Alexander Rakchek. He lost to Thiago Santos, but that was before Thiago Santos fought John Jones, which is kind of important. You know what I mean?
He hasn't looked the same since he fought John Jones. Neither one of them, to be honest with you.
He hasn't. Jimmy Crute, I'm seeing a lot of people are looking for Jimmy Crute to finish viciously, and I can see that happening. It's hard for me. I'm such a fan of Anthony Smith, but I want to see him pull through. I want to see him be the veteran in there and be the big dog in there. Kind of stop the Jimmy Crute train. So I got to ride with Anthony Smith here.
I'm not mad at you for that. This guy,
I think if he can weather the storm, which he's weathered bigger storms, then I think I'm interested to see Jimmy Crute in the deep waters with Anthony Smith.
Yeah. A lot of his fights end in the first round. Let's see if Anthony Smith can get it there.
Yeah.
I think Crute's a kind of a cool parlay piece, but I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet on that one. This first title fight. Oh, wait. No, let's talk about Chris Weidman versus Uriah Hall, because I'm betting Uriah Hall. What do you think, Mitch?
For this one, I'm betting Chris Weidman. We're just going against each other for this whole card. Yeah, I know. We're gonna go into every single one, and but I don't know. Honestly, this is a really weird take for me, but sometimes I wonder for Uriah Hall how much of a killer he can be. against some of these guys. I'm not sure. I'm afraid we go into it and then think that sometimes in my mind, I feel like Uriah Hall can do so much damage, which we all know he can. But then in the fights, they're a little lackluster. You know, I don't know if he's point fighting, but um, I feel like Chris Weidman isn't going to get punished enough for wrestling, but we'll see. I saw a little video that reminded me it was a rematch actually, where Chris Weidman won with the knockout, but I don't think Chris Weidman's going to win by knockout.
I think Chris Weidman's stand-up defense is terrible. It used to be good, but now it's non-existent. He got that Omari Akhmedov win because Omari's so slow. He's a big puncher, but Uriah Hall's going to be too fast. I think he's going to land significant. He'll probably have to shrug off some takedowns, but and I'm going to disagree with you. I think there was a time of Uriah Hall's career where he had a lot of self-doubt. He didn't know what kind of fighter he was, and I think this is kind of self-admitted. And then he just came to a point in his career where he was just like, fuck it. Whatever happens in there happens. I'm going to I'm going to stop worrying about what I'm going to look like if I get knocked out. I'm going to stop trying to be flashy. I'm just going to go in there and fight. So with this new kind of mentality, look, he knocked out Bevon Lewis, which Bevon Lewis at one point in time looked like he was going to be something. He survived versus Shoeface. He knocked out Anderson Silva.
Yeah, he did finish Anderson Silva. Yeah. Do you feel like Chris Weidman's going to go in trying to pressure? Do you think it's going to be a story of that and then Uriah Hall pretty much punishing that?
I think he has to.
I think so too. Yeah. If Chris Weidman's not going in, I feel like everyone should be worried for Chris Weidman if he's not trying to pressure.
If he tries to fight a distance with Uriah Hall, I mean, he's 2 times faster than Chris Weidman. 2 times. And we're talking about Kelvin Gastelum earlier in his career. You can just see the difference in the way that Chris Weidman moves compared to his younger days before that Yoel Romero knockout and some of the other vicious stuff that's happened to him. I mean, that Yoel knockout, it's just terrible. It's one of the worst ones ever.
Yep. He's had some bad ones.
That knee. Oh, I'm getting nightmares thinking about it again. But so there's there it is. I've got let's do I've got Uriah Hall plus 105 right now, and I've got Randy Brown minus 140.
It's gonna get worse as we go down the card.
Okay, if you say so. Rose Namajunas versus Weili Zhang. I'm probably going to be betting Rose in this one. But
we got one.
I haven't made up my mind yet. What do you think about this?
It's kind of hard because I like Rose here. Like even in the standoff, she looks longer, and I feel like a lot of people think of Rose as like soft. Maybe her name is Rose, and she's kind of got like a hippie vibe to her. But honestly, I feel like it's kind of disrespect in that aspect, and she's bigger. I feel like she can be physical. Although Weili, I mean, some of these workout videos you see are intense, man. Looks intense, and that's kind of a question: is can Rose match or at least tame the intensity that Weili is going to bring? I think so. I think the fan in me would love to see kind of Rose versus Andrade 1 type striking. I think if that Rose shows up, she can beat Zhang Weili. But I mean, I like both of the fighters. I'm excited. I think what UFC wants, not to get ahead, but I think the UFC probably wants Shevchenko Weili to win and then try to make that matchup, right?
Yeah,
that's the money fight for those gals, I think. But I think Rose could put a stop to that for sure. But this is a hard one. This is one where it's like I wouldn't put any money unless you're confident in it somewhere. But I wouldn't, put too much into this one.
Well, for me, it's almost a value bet because I think this line should be more closer to a pick 'em than
Okay.
Rose being close to a 2-1 underdog. So, in that aspect, it's almost a bet because I think Rose will win scrambles on the ground if it gets there. Joanna didn't try and take Zhang Wali down at all,
Nope.
and that wasn't a threat. So Rose can get in there. I think we'll see some grappling. She could win some rounds that way. I see
Yeah.
it being close.
And Joanna and Wei Li's striking looked kind of on par with each other. I mean, there wasn't too many moments where, I mean, they were kind of slugging it out, but Rose and Joanna have like 6 or 7 rounds together, and Rose won a great deal of them. I mean, I don't know if her striking is necessarily better than Joanna's, but her striking beats Joanna's. She's got her number. So I feel like that's not really talked about. Is Rose's striking better than Joanna's? And then if Joanna and Wei Li's was so competitive, then what is that striking going to look like? I mean, does Wei Li want to clinch, maybe try to get it to the ground, because she's great on the ground as well? I feel like they're both really good on the ground, but like you said, in that scramble scenario, I kind of favor Rose as well.
Yeah. I expect Rose to be the quicker of the two on the feet, and Zhang to have more of the explosive and power and stuff like that. I don't know. I thought Rose's last fight was weird with Andrade because she was landing more, but wasn't doing anything to Jessica. And then when Jessica would land on her, it was like her whole face was busted up.
Yeah, that third round, she started bleeding. She won the first 2 rounds pretty well, even controlled on the ground a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see how big they look on fight night, but I feel like from what we saw today at the press conference, I mean, she looked bigger to me. I don't know about you, but Rose looked bigger than Wei Li. Maybe it was just taller. But
Yeah.
we'll see. I'm excited for it. That's probably one of the more anticipated ones for me, if not the most.
So there's your strawweight title fight. Now we have the flyweight title fight. Jessica Andrade versus Valentina Shevchenko, the best woman fighter ever, minus 460 plus 365. I say that kind of tongue in cheek. It's a debate, but
yeah, right. Because Amanda's so dominant as well.
I'll start this one off. Valentina is a parlay piece for me with Chris Wade and PFL and Anthony Pettis and PFL. We don't have enough time to get into that one, but PFL kicks off tomorrow night for 23. There's some good fights. I'm a fan of PFL. If there's it's PFL week 1, they have these, they do it by weeks. So it's going to be fun. We're going to have Bellator, PFL, UFC. I mean, we have one. There's LFA if you want to get crazy.
Submission Underground if you're into that, dude, as well.
If you want
so many things,
you could just sit in front of a screen and watch live fights for the entirety of the rest of your life.
You really can. You can go watch Triller if you want to go do that. I mean,
who wants to do that?
There's something for everyone. Apparently 1.5 million people and their families and friends.
No, that's bullshit. Those numbers are bullshit. And
I agree.
It's going to go broke. Yep. So
I don't know about that, but probably
we'll keep it moving.
We'll keep it moving.
We'll keep it moving. I mean,
heavy underdog Jessica Andrade.
Here's the question: what can Jessica actually do to Valentina Shevchenko in reality to win this fight?
So the one people want to bring up is Jennifer Maia was able to hold Valentina there. And while I did see that kind of happening, I didn't really see Valentina. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm not sure how worried she was when she was on the fence. I feel like there was a lot of feeling out from her, which I feel like veterans and champions might do in situations where it's not immediate danger. I feel like when she wanted to, she got out of what she wanted. But I feel like that's what people maybe think can happen. Maybe Jessica can control for 3 out of 5 rounds. Maybe they're looking for a head slam or something like that. Or maybe they're just looking at those odds thinking they should be a little closer than that. But Valentina Shevchenko, I feel like, should have earned everyone's respect by now, right? If anything, she'll piece her up standing up and maybe take it to the ground.
Yeah. I think she could probably get a finish in this fight by sub or knockout. She said in the press conference she doesn't really go for it, but if it's there, she takes it. Andrade, I could see her getting a little sloppy, third, fourth, fifth round, something like that. I like to do round bets sometimes. This might be a good spot to throw around 4, round 5 on Valentina Shevchenko. Let's take a look at that real quick.
At any rate, I think I'll probably put money for a finish. I think I could see that as well.
Yeah. So I'll give you your odds for that right now. Valentina Shevchenko inside the distance is plus 120. Now, if you want to bet her in round 5, it's plus 1,800, and in round 4 is plus 1,200. I might be throwing a little bit on those two, but it's not going to be official, and it's not going to be for picks for the podcast.
What is Jessica inside the distance? I'm just curious. That's how she would do it, right? I mean, over a decision, Jessica's not gonna 3 out of 5 round Shevchenko. She would have to just do that weird head movement and just throw some nasty overhand right.
Plus
clip Shevchenko.
You're not even getting that much value by betting her
Yeah.
inside the distance.
You're really not. That's crazy.
If you really feel that strongly about her, just bet her straight.
Yeah.
Or by, let's see, by TKO is 875. You might want to do that. She ain't going to sub.
Yeah, she's Valentina's probably going to win that fight, but it's interesting how like Rose and Weili had just beat her recently, and then now she's moving up and fighting Valentina Shevchenko. She did beat, was it Caitlin Chukagan pretty well. I mean, she looks like she hits hard still, moving up.
Andrade?
Yeah. But yes. I'm not sure how clean you're going to hit
her with body shots.
Yep. So
that was fun. She probably is good. She probably beat most people at 125, but just Valentina sitting there at the top.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep.
It's not happening. All right, let's go to the main event now. We've got Jorge Masvidal coming back. He waited. They offered him multiple fights. He turned them down. It ends up paying off in his favor. He gets his rematch. Kamaru's already fought. A lot of people don't know. 10 UFCs ago at UFC 251, Jorge Masvidal stepped in on short notice to replace Gilbert Burns. He had to cut 20 pounds in 6 days. He did not have a full training camp. Now, Jorge Masvidal is going to challenge for the belt again. And this time he has a full training camp. So at plus 350 in most spots, plus 300, he's going to be fighting Kamaru Usman, who's a minus 400, 500 type area. Mitch, what do you think about all this?
I feel like the odds could maybe be a little bit closer, but I do see Kamaru Usman winning again. I'm not sure what Jorge Masvidal can really bring to the table that Kamaru Usman won't be able to deal with. Maybe he will be able to just keep it. If it were 25 minutes of standing, or even just 20 minutes of standing, I could see Jorge winning the fight, but I don't think it's going to be like that. I think it's going to be the more like 15 to 20 minutes of control, clinch, ground, 5 to 8 minutes of stand up. So,
well, all right. So I am going to be taking Jorge Masvidal here for a unit.
Yes.
I think
see it.
your comment about the lines needing to be closer is very true. Look, in the beginning of that fight where Jorge was landing the kicks, Kamaru did not like that at all. In fact, Kamaru, in my opinion, was resorting to some dirty tactics in the clinch, leading with his head. That's what cut Masvidal up. It wasn't strikes. It was a clash of heads in round 1 and a clash of heads in round 2 that gave Jorge his 2 cuts. He hit him in the nuts one time. I don't know. I think with the full camp, we are going to see the best shot that anyone has right now against defeating Kamaru Usman. I think he could stay at range, avoid a lot of those clinch situations. He ended up landing 88 strikes on Usman, compared to his 263.
Yeah, but how many of those are toe stomps?
Yeah.
I hope you're right. And honestly, I think Jorge Masvidal, if he can have answers for those things, because for the things that Kamaru Usman's going to do in response to not wanting to stand up, like you said, kind of coming in. I forgot about that he did make him bleed with the head. I remember now that you mention it, the announcers commenting on that when it happened and seeing the replay. So that's actually pretty interesting. I'm really interested to see how Jorge plans on keeping it standing, or at least, a striking fight versus, a clinch
I wonder if they're in the
fight.
big cage. That's going to make a difference.
I
They're in a
think they
bigger
are.
cage. Yeah, a bigger cage, which I believe they will be.
Were they not in the bigger cage than before?
It was at the Apex. It was at the small cage on Fight Island. I think that was a small cage too.
Okay.
Or I'll just make up my own facts and just go with it, kind of deal.
Yeah.
Just,
I mean, honestly, though,
but no. See, he's gonna have to, if he can stay out of distance. He was messing him up with those kicks, the inside kick
Yes.
to the leg and the body kick. Usman didn't like that, and he was landing his jab. He threw a lot of those hooks that he knocked out Wonderboy with, or was it Wonderboy? Yes. No, Pettis knocked out Wonderboy.
Do you mean Darren Till?
Till, yes. That hook that he throws is vicious.
Yep.
Now they're going to be expecting it, but I think Jorge is going to win some rounds. In fact, there's a bet. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but there is a over/under in points for MMA.
Okay.
So the way that works is it's hard for me to, they tally up the number of scores at the end of each round and you get a points handicap either way. Now I believe so if you bet usually the odds are a little closer for a fight like this, like you'll get it near even money if say if Masvidal wins a round or two, or wins the fight, you'll win that bet. So that's kind of a fun points handicap bet for, I don't see the lines up right now.
Okay.
Maybe it's one of those fight day odds, but it's pretty fun, kind of nerdy MMA bet that I'll be looking at. But no, I'm just gonna, you know what? Too many people go, oh, I could see this guy winning this way. I could see this guy winning this way. I'm gonna put my name on it. I'm gonna put a unit on Jorge Masvidal to win at a plus 350 right now at the place that I bet at. So
inside the fight,
put your name on it.
You think could by decision, or do you see a finish happening?
I can see either or.
Okay, interesting.
I can see Derek Lewis situation. He lands an uppercut with Kamaru on the way in. Although Kamaru doesn't drop down, he kind of enters, into the clinch and then goes down to it for a double leg from there. We'll see. Rematches rarely ever go the same way that they went the first time. If you go through any rematch, they look completely different. It's like, it's like hitting a fly ball with a baseball bat. it's only going to go to center field. You know, it's not
Yep.
how many times is it going to go to the center field 2 times in a row, you know?
Most recently, Stipe and Ngannou.
Yes, perfect example. Cain Velasquez versus Junior Dos
JDS.
Santos.
Yep.
We can go on and on and on. Just take a
Yep.
rematch. And
Absolutely.
except for
GSP and Matt Serra.
sure, you know, it goes on.
Jessica and Rose, you know, it's just gonna.
And it almost
That's a
flips
good
itself on
point,
its
man.
head. It almost
That's a good point, man. Jorge, I mean, with those odds, it's hard. You can't count that out, man.
no.
You can't count that out. Jorge Masvidal is looking. I think he's looking to finish Kamaru Usman. I think he wants to get him the hell out of there.
Also, the
And I
added
think,
factor
yeah.
of the fans being on Jorge's side could get into Street Jesus his head. You know, he likes that shit.
Yep. And it could get in Kamaru's head too. Try to make him want to be more exciting when he hears the boos. Make a mistake.
There will be booze. There will be booze.
Immediately. The moment there's a clinch, it'll just be booze.
And now when it happens, we're gonna have a little giggle because we.
Yeah. Yep. So it'll be fun.
It should be fun. This weekend's gonna be great. Unfortunately, we're coming near the end of the show time now. But Mitch, it's always great having you on. We breezed through all that stuff. We just gave everyone the nuts and bolts in under an hour.
Yep.
Today, my shout out is especially to Belgium and France for getting a couple downloads over there. And I'm not sure how they ever saw the podcast, but Mitch, I'm sure they know you because you've been on a couple times now. So Belgium and France, there's a listener or two there. So that's great.
Cool. Yeah, shout out to them. That's awesome. For me, I was hanging out with a buddy and they were telling me they were hanging out with their mom because they were a secretary. They told me it was Secretary Day. I looked into that and I do see it's Administrative Professionals Day. So I suppose shout out to administrative professionals if you know any of them.
Absolutely.
Then shout out to them and all the hard work they do, making sure things are in order. I remember growing up at school, a lot of goofballs at school. So keeping everyone on track is always appreciated.
Yes, we all need a little help in our lives. All right, and that's it for Nuts and Bolts MMA. For everyone else, step your game up. Boom.
Cool.